Yes, you read the headline correctly. The Maldives announced today that Israelis are now banned from entering the country because, quote, the continuing atrocities and ongoing acts of genocide committed by Israel against the Palestinian people. Well, Danielle Mor of the Jewish Agency for Israel joins us now from Jerusalem. Danielle, my dear friend, what was your reaction to this news?
Well, in a way, Raj, this really did not come as a surprise. As shocking as it might seem, as disturbing as it might seem, this did not come as a surprise because already as early as just 2 months since the massacre of October 2023, already in December of that same year, while the kibbutzim were still smelling from the smoke and from the carnage of that day, they already then posed serious threats towards Israelis in the country, and the Israeli Foreign Ministry actually published an official warning for Israelis to not visit the country. The situation was that bad. And if you think about it, when you're looking at a swarm of literally millions of tourists that visit that country every year, and a total of 11,000 Israelis, so we know that Israelis can be a little bit loud, but how loud could actually 11,000 Israelis be among millions of tourists? And still, there was this serious warning against them visiting in the country. And beyond that, they already, as of last June, almost a year ago, they stated that this was their claim. So the fact that this actually happened was not a surprise. That said, it is a complete black mark on the history of the Maldives and in many ways also on the community of countries, global nations around the world.
How would you respond to the statement from the president's office, the quote, continuing atrocities and ongoing acts of genocide committed by Israel against the Palestinian people being the reason that this happened? How would you respond to that statement?
So I would respond by saying that if they feel that that is their reality, then there are many other steps that they should do, could do, might have done in order to help the Palestinians that they supposedly care so deeply about. But to the best of my knowledge, they are not doing anything truly to help the Palestinians. They are singling out Israel, and they're singling out Israel in the sense that if you look at the definition of anti-Semitism, and people say, oh, this is not anti-Semitism, this is just against Israel and it's genocidal policies. But truthfully, Raj, if you look at this, so ask yourself a question. What other countries in the world have they ever singled out their citizens from visiting? Are they doing anything against Yemen? Anything against Syria? We all heard the horrifying news about what the Syrian government was doing towards the allowing, and we didn't hear anything coming out of that. And Somalia and any other country that you can think of, Raj, and unfortunately there are many, none of that came as a result. So you have the complete double standard, the way that they are acting towards Israel. And if you're familiar, and I'm sure you are familiar with the definition of anti-Semitism according to the 3 Ds, right? Demonization, to portray Israel as some demon country compared to any other. The delegitimization, if they consider Israel as delegitimized compared again to other countries, and of course the double standard. So here you have all 3 of these Ds. You have a complete identification with the definition of anti-Semitism. So this isn't about helping the Palestinians. This is about completely acting in an anti-Semitic way against Israel, and in that sense, against the Jewish people.
That makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time this has happened. Folks that with an Israeli passport are banned from, this list is actually quite long, Algeria, Bangladesh, Brunei, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Yemen. So my question to you, Danielle, is, I guess kind of personally, how does that make you feel? I mean, I have an American passport. That thought's never crossed my mind. Is it isolating, I guess, to be Israeli at times when so much of the world kind of rejects your identity?
So I think in some ways, Raj, the question is a little bit broader than that. It's not a question of just about how does it feel as an Israeli. It's a question of how do you feel as a Jewish person. And when we, today you're speaking to me and we're in the midst of the Passover holiday. And what is Passover all about? Like many of Jewish holidays, it's about memory and it's about giving thanks. We remember that we were once slaves. We remember that we were redeemed. We remember that we were brought out of slavery and bondage into the promised land. And what does this promised land actually give us? It gives us safety. It gives us a home. The basic concept that every person in the world so dearly yearns for, it gives us a home. And what these countries do is not new. If you look at the history of the Jewish people, and you don't even have to go back to Spain and the Inquisition and the banishment of the Spanish Jews, you don't have to go back to the banishment of Jews from England in the 13th century or from France in the 12th century. You don't have to go back to any of those times. Just even look just about 100 years ago in 1938, when Germany and Austria were persecuting Jews living in their midst, and 32 countries of the world gathered to decide in the AVN conference. They gathered to decide whether there is a way to help these Jews that are so being persecuted in Germany and Austria. And what did these countries offer, Raj? Did they offer safety, sanctuary, safe passage? No, they offered their sympathy. They expressed their sympathy to the Jewish people. No Jewish person beyond the quota that they had made years before would be allowed to enter. And instead of offering sanctuary, they offered sympathy. And Golda Meir, who traveled there as a vice president of the Jewish Agency, the same organization that I serve in today, she traveled representing that organization and came back saying that she prays to God that she will live to see a day when her people don't need the sympathy of such countries. And today we see that we have amazing friends around the world. We are grateful to the United States for its decades-long support of standing by Israel. We are grateful to any country of conscience that is standing by Israel. And we know that they are doing this perhaps out of morality, perhaps out of faith, perhaps out of the basic decency of human beings and what nations were actually created to serve their people. But beyond that, we know that they're doing it because they see us as partners and members of this family of nations. And again, if you just think about what does this holiday of Passover mean, just that basic notion that no people should be a slave, that people deserve their sovereignty and their freedom. That is a gift that the Jewish people has given the world. The Bible is a gift that the Jewish people has given the world. So to a country like the Maldives, that back in the 1960s, Israel was one of the first to recognize its independence before many other Arab nations that were afraid of the wrath of the United Kingdom and therefore did not recognize it. Israel was one of the first to recognize its sovereignty. And this is kind of the payback.
Wow. I can feel the passion in your voice, Danielle, my friend. You are a lioness for the tribe of Judah. Wow. I'm just glad to be able to call you a friend. I think your voice is absolutely spectacular. So in closing, Danielle, what is the path forward?
I think that the path forward is one that we are chartering, as we speak. The path forward has to do with standing by the values that we all were raised to believe in, of fighting for what is right, of standing up for those who need support, and knowing that we as the Jewish people and any person of faith, we come from a long line of those before us that did not stand idly by, that did not go and join whatever was the popular voice at the time, but that stood by what is right and what is just. At this time, it means, of course, the return of the hostages, and I'm praying that there will be another deal and that we can bring home all 59. And beyond that, I would say that while the Maldives may have a very glorious history and hopefully they will have a wonderful future, we, the Jewish people, are here to stay and to not be concerned in that way by what the nations of the world will do, but rather what is our destiny in this world.
Danielle, my friend, toda raba.
Bevakasha. Thank you, Raj. You're welcome. And thank you for bringing these voices out.